Hello, how's it going? Uh, Hope you're doing good out there, whatever, how your day, how you get started, or your evening, or wherever you're at in the world. Uh, I wanted, there's a topic I want to talk about what I've seen and what I witnessed in my personal life. And the topic of is dealing with, I did this before, talked about this, but I'm tell you from firsthand how my experience was. It may not apply to all people because I see this topic once in a while that goes across the internet, and it's meaning interracial marriage and interracial dating. And I've seen on the black side of the YouTube, and I usually up over there. And so this, I'm just telling from my. There's a story that I need to tell from my perspective and what I've encountered, and how race really does play a reality, and color does play a race reality when involved in this relationship. And there's a good thing, there's a bad. There's good and it's bad. So I'm gonna tell you about my story. Um, it about this back in early 2000s, and I remember I was dating. I don't know if I ever said this on another video of mine, that I was dating this female, and she was a product of a biracial relationship. Her mother's side of the family is white. Her father is never who was never part of her life is black. And I think she said she seen him one time and that was it. Um, and she was from Kentucky, and it was in fact this part of Kentucky was a low, be way below most of central Kentucky. It was down at the bottom of the Kentucky and Tennessee border, not too, probably about 2 or 3 hours away from Tennessee border. Whatever, as soon as you cross over the county into a town, you in Kentucky. Um, what I witnessed was something that I I was really shocked. I was really and I never thought about this. And most people, they never do. They never think about this. And she was petrified being down there. I don't know if anybody can hear me. The woman that I was dating, she was petrified of from or just walking down in this little town in Kentucky. And I'll never forget that the people when you're the only black person in a town where it's like a sound downtown, people don't even notice you. They don't even look at you. They don't say hi or nothing. Not all. Hey, how you doing, sir? And they don't. A lot of people don't come up to you and make conversation with you because like you're sticking out like something out of a foreign object. So she began to tell me her life story. And at the time, I'm 32 years old. She's like 20 years old. So she's telling me what she's been through in her life. She told me how she grew up in school down there, her younger years down there in Kentucky, and the town where she from. And this was validated from people who lived down there, who were white, who said, yeah, it is like that down there. And that, I mean, they call she got picked on, she got roasted on because of her naturally curly her naturally curly hair is the black side, and she got ridiculed for that. Yeah, she got ridiculed, and nasty jokes, personal jokes come at her and everything. And her mom, they probably talked about her mom and everything because she laid up with the black man. This is something that they call in every I mean, she heard the N word and everything. You even imagine when you live in the product of in that kind of environment. And I feel sorry. I mean, tears rolled down my eye because like she was raised in an environment like this, and she's by herself, and it's almost like she is a part of her. So I can't really. She said I want to relate to you. I like the way you guys talk. Basically her black side because that's the where she could connect it to, and I mean, it was something. It was really an eye-opening session. That was one incident. The second incident, I was dating a woman who had I think 11, 12-year-old child from a black man, and she was staying with her relatives in Lancaster, Ohio. Now, Lancaster is about an hour south from there, and I've heard. And so when I went the one day to go meet up her people didn't like the fact that she brought a black man to their home, and they wouldn't even look at me. They didn't say hi. They didn't say welcome or nothing, even though that her daughter is partially biracial, which you can see clearly she has melanin in her skin. And I was kind of shocked, like, wow, that's a reality. So when people say that they don't see color, they see color. There's people that see color, and it's pretty cruel. And I'm like, dang. I mean, it was her friend. I think it was a few relatives. They ain't say nothing. They ain't look at me. They ain't say hi. They ain't say what's up or nothing. They just walked past me like I'm a ghost. I'm telling you this for a reason. And so some people think that these things don't happen. And I'm the most nicest, interesting guy you ever want to meet. And I mean, I come from a good family background. I mean, I'm not no pimp. I ain't no drug dealer. I had a job at the time. All the stereotypes, like, because they say black men are, lazy, shiftless, and sell drugs and do this and do that. Well, I wasn't none of those things. But you can't say that to this demographic of people because the image has already been painted. And so what I'm saying is the grass ain't greener on the other side. Then I talked to a few women that were white that had children from a biracial relationship, and the one woman, she couldn't understand why that her daughter was having problems because she didn't have problems before, and she felt isolated, insecure. Now they live in town where it's classified as mostly white. There's hardly no black people that live out there, and her daughter went through this, and she started giving her some flack and some feedback, and I was like, wow. And I'm just listening to the story after story after story. And so when they raise in an environment where it's predominantly white, you raise with your friends, you don't see color because you see the image of what they see, and you take on their spirit too. And there's some black people that get like that too when they get out there in them areas, and then maybe one day they might go with one of their friends to another little town that's like their town, and they find out real quick it ain't like that. Not everybody gonna think you're cool because they believe in your friend. Oh, you got a black friend. No, and they see you as the black friend. A black friend is supposed to be invisible among a tree. Now you to make your melanated presence. And so it activates something. It activates some people who see color. And they see color. And it comes out. And how it comes out is so indirect, it's not even, it's right in your face. I mean, politically correct. I mean, some people can't even hold back the racism that they have, the racial views that they have, particularly if you're a black person. And I mean, same way if you probably a dark Mexican or something like that, people, it does, color does matter. I know this from personal experiences, and the family, and I've talked with some people in the past, and they not well on code. They weren't on board with my philosophy. It might be, well, love see no color. Yeah, love has a certain limitation. I'm your friend, but you ain't coming into my family. We cool. We could be like family, but you not coming into my family because that mixed the bloodline. That changed the whole dynamic. And I'm like, wow. And I've seen this over time, and this is not like in the 1970s or 1980s. There's some incidents I remember, like I said, early 2000s. Here in 2000, which is the last past decade. Because some people say, well, that's in the past. No, it is now. There are people still like that now. So what made me come to this topic was, and I tried to tell some black men this years ago, not all white women want, it's not easy for your pickings. I'm gonna tell you, it's not, and she said it first, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why is because the white female sees her father and her brother as her first role model. That's what she sees, and so that's her. In whatever town, whatever city, whatever rural area, whatever part of the country, that's what they see. Now, and sometimes what happens is, and some people go out of relationship just because they know that they people are prejudiced. And now it's like, someone who's trying to make a boyfriend jealous, so she go and date another guy. Well, that's how some people, and they know that their families is racist and they're prejudiced. And literally, it had a rocky, but it was not too rocky. Now they completely left because you brought it to an opposing force of what they was set up to be. And he said, no, we know black people, we don't have no problem with black people, but black people need to stay with black people. And you still got some people that still feel like this to this day. And this is what was told. He'd be like, well, dang, that's kind of prejudice. And it's not. And some of the people some of the people are not going to change their mind. They will always see color, because color is the perception and assumption of their perception of what was their time life to be. It'd be the same thing if some people say, example, let's say gays and lesbians, gay men, lesbian women. You might say, and there's some people strongly oppose to that for their own reason. And he said, well, a man can love a man and do whatever they do in their bedroom. A woman can whatever they do in their bedroom. And they can get married and do whatever. That's true. And to a certain degree, some people on both sides of the tracks, well, to some people feel like that, but some people, and it depends on who they are. But see, it is just about as foreign is an interracial relationship, because it goes up the upswing of abnormal to some people. And it's not, there's some black people that feel the same way because their own personal fit. And I'm like, wow. And sometimes I would hear the same thing from white people. Later on, I'm hearing from black people saying like, no, I don't believe in interracial dating. Like, whoa, why not? Well, they said it's just because of their past experiences with white people. This is the God's honest truth that they don't trust it. And some black people don't like white people. They don't trust white people. I'm just being forthfully honest with you. There's some white people that don't trust black people, that think that black people or whatever the news paint them, they already got it in the image. And just this, not white people are not the only people who feel this way. Other nationalities feel this way, and we're not welcome into their family. I may have made videos about this, but I never been specifically clear on why. But this is the truth. This is from my personal experience. And now you cool as far as doing business and other things, but when it comes to I'm gonna take you in my family, you're gonna be my brother-in-law, you're gonna be part of the family, in the blood family, bring into blood. That's not gonna happen. You can be like a friend, like a family. You're a friend of a family. You're not into their family like the blood of a family member, which means you connected through a child or connected through marriage, and that's the way it is. And I've seen this personally in my personal life, and I said there are a lot of attractive white females out there. Some are very friendly, but the realistic point about it, if I would have been get into a marriage relationship, and knowing that you gotta go around their extended family, or their extended family gonna accept it. That's one thing, because family means a lot to whatever culture you live in. Family means a lot. People you grew up with means a lot. That goes across every border every sector of people, because everybody has a past. Everybody has people that they relate to and talk about, laugh things about with the past, because everybody has a past, that good or bad, that they come from, and people they still associate to this day for the last 20, 30 years of whatever the part of their life. So a lot of people don't want to give up their friends and family for something like that. Now, it's different. It's kind of funny. Unless it's something with money or politics, most people, and if it's politics, it's something that can be weathered. You can weather that. But with appearances and association with is a whole different ball game. And so, this is what I have learned over time. And I'm not saying that it can't happen. You can love somebody, but if you're black and you love somebody who's white. I'm not saying it isn't not going to work. It is going to work. But my prayer for them is that I hope every person you come across can look at you as a person, not as a color, because in some form or fashion it's going to come out with some individuals, and sometimes the deep-seated, rooted things tend to stir up whatever they've been thinking. It can come out as in a joke. I've seen this happen. There's some people that joke about stuff like that, and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I bet you don't know how to cook your man watermelon." I'm just using it as an example, but there are some people who are white who joke like this. They're gonna make some insensitive racial jokes, and if they. And like, yeah, come on, brother. You know how you guys? I know how the way you guys dance. Like, and it come something. All of a sudden, would come with something subtle like that. And then it's like, you kind of like, whatever, you a jerk, whatever. And then it come out with something. Well, that don't get your response. Then they'll come out and they'll come up with some other stereotype. Yeah, I heard about those black guys and they phalluses, and like, what the heck? And it's like, why are you? And that's another thing. It's like, why are you worried about another man's phallus? And there's some white males that feel inferior about another man's phalluses going up into their women. That's the truth. Which we know that's not true. You know what I mean? But in some cases, some men are well endowed, and some men are not. But you got some men, and that really messes with the man's mentality. So they women can handle that they when they get with their mind is all painted with this mentality that you're gonna, oh man, she gonna be all, I mean, it's crazy. Instead of maybe they just got together. But if the sex is good, I mean, the sex is whatever. Their sex is good, whatever floats their boat. But what I'm saying is, that some people, color does matter. Color does matter, and I've heard it from some people's mouth. I've heard, and I've been around enough people. I didn't just, one of these people just, you got one friend who is Caucasian, is white. And you just around that one. No, you got to go around a whole multitude of people and go into a different atmosphere, the setting, because people ain't gonna say something unless they get when they get up in among many. Then you see a whole side of people, and they could lie because they have people that look like them, so they can just say whatever the heck they want to say, and they don't hold no hard bars back. You want to see what someone did? Get around their own people, and they'll let you know the whole and anything, and put some beer or catch them on the wrong day where their emotions are charged up. You'll find out how people really is, and you'll see what they, because sooner or later what is reserved is gonna come out. What is reserved is gonna come on, and I've seen this personally, and so that was some my experiences. So sometimes, and I remember this one time, this one couple that I know, and this was really messed up. And couples have a fight all the time. And again, this was a product of an interracial relationship, and this is back in the '90s. And I never forget this just came to me. One time I knew this couple back in Youngstown. Again, he met her in the service. They had kids together, and something happened where she was messing around with this white. He wasn't doing right by her. Next thing you know, I see his half biracial children calling him their daddy a nigger. And then she ended up, having an affair with his buddy who was white. Meanwhile, they calling their daddy who's black a nigger. And I was like, wow. So they calling the party, so their daddy, even though that whatever the circumstances that happened between their father and their mother, but to hear those kids say that, I was like, wow. That's why that's it. I was like, wow. And even though they might have a disagreement among each other, the fact that she had her kids saying that about their father. I mean, it's one thing couples get along. Guy could be a jerk. Alcoholic, whatever. But for her, that really had me thinking. That's one incident. That was back in that she was actually in 1990. And I think more about it was back in 1990. Now, not it occurred to me. But I'm just saying from my incidents. And now, as far as I have two cousins that are a product of their spouses that are married to white. They're married to white. I don't really associate with them or talk to them. I see them once in a while, but I have a cousin, so I already know the picture's already painted over there that her siblings are mostly white. My cousin, I have a cousin, female cousin, and I have a male cousin. They're both brother and sister, and one live out in Washington State, the other one lives in Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know what this situation is, so I can't really speak on them. But I'm just telling you from my experience, from what I've seen, because something like that will come up. a topic of race will come up, especially with these latest cases. And I wonder, those interracial couples, what's going through their mind, because that does put some tension on. In some cases, does put tension on that relationship, because if you see a representation of this over and over and over. There was a case out there, I think it was in Utah somewhere, where this woman's husband, who is black and she is white, something happened where it was a traffic stop that turned really, really bad, and they see that he was a black man, and she was trying to advocate for his release, and it was and they severely punished him. And I forgot, I seen this on a channel, on this one guy named Afrocentric channel. I forgot, it was a case like that a while back. But he pointed out that her husband was black, and the town they stayed at was mostly white. And that he got hemmed up with some situations, and he's still trying to fight to clear his name. But what I'm saying is that sometimes the grass ain't greener on the other side. And so if a person's spouse is black, they're going to catch it in some form or fashion. If they live in a predominantly white town, they're going to catch it in some form or fashion. I've heard case after case like this. And so, and even though there's some people say, well, we try to show the beauty in the cup, and that's fine. That in your household, among a few friends are like that. But when they go out in that mainstream town, in that mainstream area, and they get in school and your kids go to school, it's gonna come. Some things will come through their parents, and they'll teach their kids the same thing, and they'll hear about it in some form or fashion. Because see, people logically see race, they subconsciously see race. And I said this in past, they subconsciously. And now you with somebody who they subconsciously have opposed against. So that's the reason why they're prejudiced. Because black people, listen to me, to me, is painted as the picture of non-intelligent, erradical behavior, and they feel with this criminality. And they even go so far to think that we're not even, and while we saying that, some people say, well, God love all children, but these people who are painted this racial stereotype that's coming out in some form or fashion, this is what goes through their mind, and they don't know how to directly tell you this, but they say this through their actions. And a lot of people don't understand it. Some people, they see race, and sadly, sometimes their own friends, they're shocked that they had that kind of racist views. It's already been there. I know a friend of mine personally here in Columbus, and we cool, we hang out and everything, and we just we friends. His family loved me like one of their own. But there were times when I would go around their people, and when they got their people from to their childhood or from work, from school in the neighborhood, and I'd be the only black person over there, oh, I'm the shadow. I'm definitely the shadow. It's like we there, and some people can put on the face, like they act like they being kind because this person's black friend. See, they do it subtly. That's why I said you go into an atmosphere of the environment. This is how some people roll, and it's a real nice neighborhood, really nice neighborhood. But then not everybody's open. because, and I remember I recall one of the neighbors. I didn't know it was like this, but if it hadn't been for his brother-in-law told me about one neighbor, he didn't like. He started out saying that he didn't like Muslims. I'm just giving this as an example. And I'm like, that's kind of messed up. Why don't like? I mean, it is what it is, but he handed it around, and he just come out and say that the guy that who is Muslim is black, and the neighbor didn't. It subconsciously he had that prejudice, and I didn't even know that because once in a while, when his sister would come, they said, "Come on, James, let's go down and we go," because the kids would go down and take them to the pool. But I never knew that, and I knew for some reason I would never get into that pool, and I had no idea why. Now my friend's sister went out west with her children, but they free spirited, they loving people. But the neighbor that they would go and swim down, this dude has an issue of prejudice, and he's supposed to be, and you got when you say, well, he seemed like a nice guy, that's I don't know, I forgot the guy's name. But he got a Catholic statue out and said, "Oh well, he must have some kind of God Christian like to himself." That don't mean nothing. And this is what I said. And if you would see that, but some people subconsciously, for him to say something, and I'm sitting there eating, and at the time, the guy wasn't prejudiced. But his brother-in-law didn't even like the guy. It was something when he said that, it kind of rocked his conscience. But, and we start talking about different people, and when he said that, it rocked his conscience. I said, what's going on? And so when he mentioned that neighbor, I'm like, oh, I said, I knew it was something about that guy. I knew it was something about him. But that's their family friend. And this is in a predominantly white neighborhood. But subconsciously, this man was prejudiced. Because he had to make this statement, they had it to top it, and the man, whoever the black Muslim guy wasn't present. But he made his feelings that he didn't like this black Muslim. And I was like, wow, really? And I was like, just because a man's, not only is his religion, it's his color of his skin. See, some people are settled with their prejudice. I'm trying to tell you that this is the truth. And they don't want to be so indirectly, because it's something that is in some people. It's really deep rooted, and they don't know how to express it. So that's why some black people, and they don't think black people catch on things like this, but it's common sense. When you've been around, and like myself, I've been around people, and not just one, not just two, not just three, not just four, not just 10. I mean, a whole room of people. You find out real quick when you in their atmosphere what there really is about. When you go among their family and their friends, you find out real quick what are they really about. What they really what do they believe? I want to see the real side of you. Is it generally love, or is it generally is it deep rooted? Is something deep rooted in you? I have witnesses personally. I have witnessed some things when someone had it to a disagreement with somebody who was black, and they just come out and just said the N-word right in front of my face. I was like, wow. Just said the N-word, just like roll up off the top of their tongue. Then hesitate, then think twice about it. See, some people who are prejudiced, they have that in them, and they try not to be like that, because if some of these people are in their presence, they're afraid that maybe someone's going to judge them or no, and that's the kind of person that's really got me leery. I rather deal with the person that's directly racist and say, hey, I'm a Ku Klux Klan hating son of a gun. I don't like any doggone nation. No, and don't believe in that stuff unless you come and don't believe mixing. I can handle something like that. As at least that man is honest, and that woman is honest. I rather deal with this, and I'm like some black people. To show me what you, let me know if you're racist. Let me know, you know, because that way it's that I know where you coming from. But if you want the kind of people that beat around the bush, and then later on you get filled with emotion and get filled with some substance, and it all come out. It come out in some form or fashion, and then because they feel so boldly and indirectly to tell you this. I have left people I used to hang out with that were white that had this kind of mentality. That even me and my friend John, who was black, who left this mentality. And there's some things I told him that some things I didn't tell him how this person really is, because I got to see the other side of them. That's why I know what I know. That's why it comes back to this topic. I know how people really are, and I don't, I didn't jump on them and beat them up, and try to kill them. You call me you say that word nigger again without going to. No, I didn't do that. No. I'm glad. Come on out with it. Come on out, because what that does, that tell me when a person got that kind of animosity and stuff like that, simply because a person of the complexion of their skin, and sorry if I keep using that, but I'm using it as a demonstration. I hope this video don't get cut. But as I'm using it as a teaching tool, is when it's those people that they have that inner prejudice, and it's coming out subsequently, and it's not always somebody who's poor in the country who's like this. It's some folks who can live in a $400 or $500 house and live in the most best neighborhood, well kept lawns. Is going to be the most racist person on the block. They always got to be, they think someone poor is somebody white and poor and they live in a trailer park. No. That's the mild ones. It's the ones that's out there. Them the ones that could be, if they got some congressman or some like Clay Higgins making laws, and they live in a $500 a house, or a quarter, like damn near like a mansion, and they making laws against other groups of people and opposing laws. These people have always been around. That's the kind of racists you need to worry about, and they want to hold on to that position of power because it is what it is, and you don't marry interrelation in their family unless. Very seldom you do that, and their kid do bring home someone other than something darker. Oh my goodness! Woo wee! No. And they got their country clubs and they friends and stuff like that. And you bring somebody home, and they have to practically disown you, because of their association with the people that surround them. This is real talk. See, I've been around people. I know the spirit of what they have. And so to get back, I didn't mean to go off in that direction, but this is from what I've seen this personally. Being in this, so when you interracially dating a black person with a white person, you're gonna get those looks, you're gonna get those stares, and even though that like the first female artist, we're standing outside in this little town of Kentucky, and there was people that she knew, they would not even look at us. She knew them, and she's a product of a biracial relationship, which means she's real light complected. Which, I mean, part of her, she's biracial. And I dated her. And I seen this firsthand. And I'm down in her little town in Kentucky, which is, the town's called Corbin, Kentucky. And it's like something out of, like, ancient times. I mean, it's one of those towns, you can tell it was a sundown town. And the people confirmed it, black and white, that were from Kentucky, that town Kentucky. And then the town's so doggone small that her mother, it was this, I don't know how, I met another woman online, and she said this is the reason why she had to leave Corbin, Kentucky, because she knew that she was a white female. She said, because I don't believe in what they believe, but she said that, and I said, do you know this young lady? She said, yeah, I knew who Sinead was, and she went to blah blah this and blah blah blah. This was meant for me to hear this. So they stayed in the apartment building down there, right? Check this out. One of the neighbors was the Grand Wizard of the KKK, and knew, and her mama was Sinead, was down there in that part of this part of Kentucky. This female. Then they knew who. The town is so small. They knew that this guy was a Klansman. And people said that don't stuff happen. Yes, they do. And he knew exactly she was a product of a biracial relationship. And believe me, he said some not so nice thing because her mother laid down with the black man, produced this half black child. I'm telling you what's going on. And I've dated this, and I'm down there, and she's petrified. I mean, we're down in Kentucky, and she had to literally go over because she didn't know how some of these people were so prejudiced. They don't let black people on their property. Yeah, there's some people still like that down there, and even though there's some black people that's in Kentucky, and it was like 1-2 black people was in the whole town. I'm telling you. I've been in towns like this, and then I get back to Cincinnati, and see, my stepfather's brother-in-law, he's from Kentucky, so he found out I go down, so he's familiar with these different parts of Kentucky, and he's like, "You went to where?" I said, "Yeah, I went down to." "Oh yeah, I went down." This Negro went down to Corbin, Kentucky. This is exactly what his response was. You went to Corbin, Kentucky? What is you, Negro, is you crazy? I said, hey, I didn't know it was like this. So, Johnny, he went down to Corbin, Kentucky. And you made that alive? Look, I didn't know it was like this. Man, you better stop going down in them places. They could have hung you in Bernie. Don't tell James to go down and I didn't know what I said. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to explain to him. I said, "Oh, he talked to some white woman." No, she's half white. She's not fully white. I didn't look. I'm sitting down there. I'm trying to explain to my stepfather's in-laws. Look, no, she's part white. She looks mostly black. But her mom's side is white. They stayed down there in Corbin, Kentucky. I went down there to spend the night. I didn't know it was like this, and he was like, "Man," and I mean, they wrapped they didn't let me go down to this day till they went on and passed on it. They no longer live it, but they told me, "Man, you stay out of that part of Kentucky, boy. You gonna get your black behind lynched." Them white folks, even some of the black folks might even join on the lynching down there. I'm like, damn. So I said, okay, I'll stay away from that Corbin, London, Kentucky down there. But I'm just saying, and some people don't believe that in these places in America it's still like that. And this was in early 2000. This ain't in 1980, 1970, 1990s. This is in 2000. The year 2000. It was 2000 and what, 1 or 2, something like 2001. I did too. I mean, I'm like, wow, man, people still like, kind of like this. I'm at the time like people still carry on like that. Yeah, there's people still like that. So, but they rolled my behind for the longest time about that, and it was confirmed from other people. Yeah, they were white people that kind of confirmed. Yeah, they younger. They would say, yeah, they're kind of bad down there. I was like, oh Jesus. I said, ooh. And there was another case where I was a driver here in Columbus, I would go pick up patient. This was another case where I met a woman who was white. Her boyfriend was black. He's from New York, and sometimes they would go and I would she would come up to Columbus from Lancaster, Ohio, and they would go out somewhere to a restaurant, and people like stare at them like they like what the heck is this? And I mean, they would get the nastiest looks and stares, and her boyfriend felt uncomfortable. But she didn't think much about it. I'm thinking to myself, man, lady, you could have come up to Columbus. I say it probably wouldn't have been as bad because Lancaster is predominantly white. It's black people down there, but it's mostly white people. Mostly white people. When you live in them little towns like Lancaster, Circleville, and them towns where it's mostly white, and it's not a lot of other ethnic groups, you're gonna get some funny looks because you're gonna get some strange looks, and that's where the heart for some of that little white nationalists and Klan and them areas like that come from. People they got areas like that down there, and they raise start chapters like that. So when you in them areas and you being an interracial couple, you really you in the frying pan and don't even know it. And sometimes they say, well, that's just and some people play it off like, oh, well, that's just Jerry. He's just blowing off some steam. He's just pranking somebody. Yeah. He's pranking somebody. He's putting FUN and putting a burnt cross in front of yeah. I wonder where he learned that behavior from. But it's so downplayed. But I never forgot that woman who boyfriend was black, and she lived in Lancaster, and I forgot she was in some kind of she was like a professional artist or something like that, psychiatrist, and she had some physical problems, and I had to go pick her up and bring her up here to Columbus to one of the clinics, and I'm like, man. And then there was one case again out of Lancaster, Ohio. Dude told me, two people who were white told me this. He said, and I said, how is Lancaster, Ohio? One of them said, brother, don't you know that this is the headquarters of the KKK? I'm like, no, I never knew. I didn't know that. But thank you for letting me know. And one guy said, let me tell you how the way the police are down here. This is in 2005. He said that if they see a black person, white person going out together, cops gonna pull them over thinking that they're selling drugs in the area. I said, wow, damn. See, this is intel that I find this out about race relations, and just that's why I said talk to the people, and I'm glad they tell me, because at least they being honest with me. Not that these people are prejudiced or something like. They let you know that they get the inside scoop. Hey, this ain't the place you want to be. In their own way, they telling me this ain't the place you want to be. So I say, hey, and so from being down there, which is half hour to an hour from Columbus, I learned about Lancaster, Ohio. And I've heard many incidents like that down there. When you live in these little towns like that, and you got, oh, I got my first black boyfriend. You got your first black boyfriend. You better get the heck up on out of there. They might knock you off the road and drag you up there in the woods somewhere. I'm serious. Get drunk as a son of a bitch. And they mad because they can't get Becky. And Becky looks fine. She's shapely fine. And some white males got that kind of animosity and hatred towards black men. They will try to kill you if they could. They start something. Black men see a white female, you might not like it, the white male, but they don't like it. But it is what it is. He might some might say a few words, keep on going. But white males, they take it to a whole different conundrum. Trust me, they let their women know, how they feel about it. Even if their former boyfriend was black. So and I had a neighbor like that. And his one day his fiance come out and tell me that she didn't like, they got into an argument to this day. Well, why is that? I said, why? But you're not in a relationship with him. She didn't like it that the fact that her ex-boyfriend was black. This was in Cincinnati. This is also back in 2000, about 2003. So people see color. And even like this is a white female who no longer dated black men. But she had one black boyfriend. She had one black boyfriend. Hear me now. One ex-black woman who did not no longer didn't have no children out of a relationship, never had a kid with them. And then, but her fiance couldn't get that out of his head. Then how can you lay down with this black man? You lay down with a black man? I mean, it rocked his conscience. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that don't mean they didn't. They ain't together now, but that's what I said. People see, but psychologically, she let me know people still see color. And all people now, if a black female lay down with a white male and things didn't work out, I'm like, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes some people are not compatible together. It don't have to maybe personality and other issues, but it's the outer appearance that people see stuff, and they try to hide and deny it and neglect that's not the problem, but it's coming out as the problem. And the reason why I talk about things like this is in topics like this, because it's just a social conscientious thing that we have in America. And that's why, because some people don't want to go there. They want to say no, they think that Christianity and this, God said we love all people. No matter you my brother, you my sister. People can say words, but how do they display the word? And I can say, yeah, you my brother, and be turn around behind your back and hate and talk about you like a dog. And but that's something that it rocked his conscience. That her, and I don't know if they still together to this day because they had a baby together. I don't know if this. Because after I moved out, they moved out, and it was an interracial couple that was a woman again, and I forgot now I think more about it. I was in the building, and the neighbor that was over me, who was white, who had mostly white friends, got to it with the neighbor upstairs because she couldn't sleep because they were making a lot of noise, and I was underneath them. He was making some noise. And then his neighbor, the next door to me, tried to take up what they know. Oh, Carrie ain't that bad. Blah blah blah. Because they click together. But the fact is he was making noise. And so one day, the woman who had the black boyfriend came down and just tried to talk to him and said, "Hey man, could you please keep it down? Whatever." He got all offensive to it. He practically threatened him and everything. I mean, and it's like, dude, just keep it down. I say, well, he was wrong, and no, he wasn't wrong, and da 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 da. See, it's that unseated racist stuff that come out. That's just a few examples. That this is from what I've witnessed and from my personal experience. That's why I made this video. It's from my personal experience. Sometimes the grass ain't always green on the other side. But people are just jerks and assholes. Yeah, but and people say that some people that's true. There are some people just jerks, but you would never know the depthness of the jerkness. You would never know until you hear it come out of their mouth, and it goes from words to actions, and it goes from actions to activity to actions. And people act out what they really say, and they say what they do, and they act out what they do. And you can ignore it all day long, but you have seen incidents online of people acting out the insecurities, trying to put fear, intimidation on other people based on what you disturb their so-called reality. So they want to put the fear back on somebody who do. This was happening here in America, in little small areas in town, and you're trying to think you're trying to escape because if you an interracial couple, but you're going from the fish to the frying pan when you go out there in little areas. That's why I made a video about this earlier about the 5 towns in Ohio, and that's just in Ohio. That ain't including Indiana. That ain't including Pennsylvania. That not including New York or any other places. Because I've been to them towns. I've been to little towns when I'm the only one in the town, and I've observed my atmosphere. So somebody can't, and people don't understand. They can't tell you from unless you personally experience it. So, but yeah, people see color. People see color, and they don't want to see color, but it comes out in a different form or fashion. This is what I witnessed. This is what I personally went through and everything. And this is not, like I said, it's not that long ago. Now, you just said that it was in the 70s and 80s. Well, that was long. This was not long time ago. This was like a decade and a half ago, and people still carrying on this stuff. And it's like, wow, it make you really think about how there are people really that are that prejudiced in America. They are that prejudiced, and they're not. And it's the ones that the direct you can see. It's the ones that's indirect you don't see. That agrees with the ones that's direct. That they see, and it doesn't matter what their political association is. It could be a Democrat and be a racist. They could be a Republican and be a racist. Some could be me being independent. It don't mean whatever, because that's the biggest thing now. Well, if you white and you vote for Trump, no. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. No. It's not always the case, because everybody have a certain agenda and got a certain motive. So I wanted to tell this video and get some people that hopefully it's kind of get from my experience. This is what I've seen and what I have witnessed, I personally went through, and it's kind of how it affected me. It's like I don't really go around a lot of people, regardless of race, color, I don't go around a lot of people, and whenever I go, I have to, I'm more careful, I'm more aware of where I go, because it's just the times we live in it. But when I look back at the experience, I know it had to be God that had to be with me, because I've been in some places, boy. I could talk about Kentucky. Ooh wee! I mean, go to a little small town in Kentucky at the Tennessee border, where it's like 70% of the town is trailer park, and probably 30% is not but rural area. Rural. It's like rural. It's like the roads turn into a dirt road, and like I said, it ain't hardly no black people. They ain't no black. It's some places in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. Oh my goodness! And this is a young man called Tareen that talks about the towns. He does a data of a sound downtown. Oh, there's some sundown towns for you out there, and then people still like that in them towns. That's why when someone black or any other thing come through, they looking at you like, what the heck is coming from? It's like, because you believe it or not, there's some people still like that in America. The only time they see different people is on TV or what the news tell them. And when you come through their town, it's like, like even the kids, you can tell even the way the kids react. It's like, mommy, that's a black person. They're real. You're like, damn. Yeah. There's some people like that, because you got to look at the area and the demographic of where they live at, and they raise them out there, so most of the people look like them. So if something come foreign and look foreign to them, like what, you know, and then it come, they it's in their neighborhood, right at the back of their doorstep. Oh, that's gonna catch some eyes right there. And I have been in some places, I have caught some eyes. And I had that, and I just look and see. There's two type of people when you go through those towns. You got some people that they might speak to you, but it's the kind, but some you got the real racist town, don't even look at you like, and it's like you there, but you're visible. If you're black, you're visible. You other people, you're one of the other people, you invisible. And that's how I know from personal experience. And so, cause imagine me bringing some dating a white female out there, and or I'm married to a white female, and I live out in them towns. No, 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 no. And here's the thing: they got the pickup trucks too. Run, run, run! Confederate flags, shotguns, and everything, man. Yeah, yeah, big old them storm trucks, the kind that race through the mud, and the good old boys with the big tires about this big off the doggone ground. Yeah, them kind. Shit. You know, like, oh no, they ain't running me off the road down there for no white female. Forget that. No. Ooh, I used to pass through them towns like that. Yeah. See, some of us black men, we got some good common sense. You know, there was one place right on the edge of a highway, off of 171 out here in Ohio. If you come from Cincinnati, coming up towards Columbus, going towards Cleveland, this one man got a burnt cross right at the stick of the highway. And people are like, no, what is it? He got a big Confederate flag on his barn, right? Big old Confederate flag on his barn, and a burnt cross out there. Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm in Columbus. It's like 2 hours, almost like, because it takes like almost 2 hours to get to Cincinnati. Right, probably I'd say about half hour to 45 minutes outside Cincinnati. And it's like in little rural towns. That's next to the highway, to the major highway. Was it like cornfields? I mean, you know, like one kind of town is like cornfield. You go cornfield after cornfield, bean field after bean field, and you see, you know, and then you see some next area of you can tell a barn, and again got a Confederate flag and a burnt flag. This is in Ohio. This is right off of 71, and any peabody have even there. If they come off come through Ohio, come through have to look to the right as you're coming from south from Cincinnati. Look to your right when you come. There's a house sitting over with a Confederate and a burnt cross right there. I try to tell a few people that, oh no, that stuff is old. White guy tried to tell me, I'm like, really? Well, you go see yourself. Anyway, but this stuff is real, man. These people are real, and you gotta be careful going through your little town, and that's why if you're an interracial couple, I don't care if you're a white man with a black woman. Be careful. You know, I'm just telling you. I know how to get down. I know this from experience. How people really are, and they'll hurt and kill you just as fast as they would do a black person for standing up for a black person. You and them kind of you. I'm telling you, they would do it. That's how crazy. This is the kind of times we live in right now. And people are like, wow, I never seen that kind of anger and hatred. It's always been here. It's always been here. People just never pay attention. Something that you think died down always come back in a cycle. It never repeats itself. It repeats itself. But yeah, I thought it was a surprise too, and I would think that's what I say here, and that's why I encourage you. But if you are in that kind of relationship, stay in a mixed area, stay in a multiracial area. Do not go out in the predominantly white area. Do not, if you're an interracial couple, don't live in no predominantly white area. You will see something. And sometimes, in some, at least you have some support, some background. Someone will back you up in an interracial environment. But when you're in a predominantly white environment, they're not going to back you up. And the police won't take you seriously. They just think that you just, because secretly they'll agree with it, but they try to be so politically, will try to be fair with it. But they don't, some of them don't even agree with it. So they might, that's why they don't do something when it comes to a hate crime or something like that. Because it's like when they have to go and arrest somebody, it's like they have to go and arrest their own nephew, their own son. They really don't want to do it. And they don't want to think about that. And that's a fact. It's like, why don't they do something about that? That's like with all the racial incidents. It's because some people, that's what they don't want. That's why the cops act the way they do. They really don't want to do it. Because subconsciously, race is a subconscious thing. It could be to the point that politically thing that even though it says it on the books, but it might be somewhere in the law that don't have to filter out to the law. So it's something to think about. It is something that I know from experience. And sometimes probably would ask why you make these videos like that, because some people still try to deny and not talk about a problem. You don't talk about a problem, or a problem repeats itself, and face it and understand that's just because someone look like you doesn't mean they're going to agree. It doesn't mean they're going to agree with you. And be careful of the ones that don't agree with you, because they'll act out what they simply disagree with you about. They'll take it to a whole different level. I mean, just with politicians. Like, look, people argue over two rich men, wealthy men in politics. You got people fighting and starting up personal groups because one is for Biden and the other one's for Trump. What does that tell you? And I mean, there's people acting out violently, men and women acting out crazy over who's going to be the president, who wants to start a civil war. This is how much this country has this mentality of violence. Nobody wants to live at peace. And if it means peace, means I got to subdue your opinion. I got to subdue the way you think. I got to subdue what my opinion, and everybody, if they don't agree with what we do, then we act out because we have the privilege to act out. That's privilege. So right now, what you're witnessing right now is privilege act out against privilege when it comes to politics. And it's affecting other people because no one go about it. I mean, this thing is bigger than what you think. And people say, will we ever have peace? The only way we have peace is when Yeshua, better known as Jesus, come back. That's the only way all this will ever end. Evil will ever end. That's the only way it's going to end. But when it comes to peace, it could be 7 years of peace, but you know, as anybody reading from the Bible, then tribulation comes after the 7-year peace. It sounds peaceful, but tribulation comes right after then. That's why it says always going to be evil versus evil. It goes beyond the skin. But I didn't mean to go in that direction. But I'm sorry I keep going out of the topic, but this is my personal experience. Getting back what I was saying earlier. My testimony. What I've witnessed, what I've seen. So I see that most people some people do see color. They don't just say it. I always say in my video, they display it in some form or fashion. So I hope you all take hope. Sorry this video been so long. I just wanted, it's almost like I'm sharing with somebody, dropping some jewels. Till next time, be careful where you go and be careful where you stay. Be careful who you associate with. If you see that, get away from people who are like that. If they start talking and hinting that way, joking around that way, steer clear from them, because their true nature is being revealed. Till next time, be blessed.